address, we have here with us the 20th President of the University of the Philippines, President Alfredo Pascual.
I don't know whether to call my few words as address, but I surely would want to share with you some thoughts this afternoon. Guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Robbie and Dr. Kamagay, for your invitation for me to attend this book launch. I am excited to read again the work of a former colleague at the Asian Development Bank, and previous to that, at the Asian Institute of Management. I am delighted at how our paths seem to cross. The author represents these two formidable international institutions. And now he gets to have his book reprinted by UP, a book which was originally published by UP, even as I, who used to be with ADB and AIM as well, have recently assumed the presidency of this university. This is nothing short of a happy coincidence, as well as a happy reunion for me with former colleagues from ADB and AIM who are here. But it must be stressed that our coming together is marked by an intent to serve the people, which is common in all our individual efforts. Publication means that the author, through his work, is reaching out to a larger audience and presenting ideas to help make our world a better place. Based on the author's scholarly track record and work on the field of development, his book, we are launching this afternoon, or relaunching this afternoon, will have substantial lessons. Lessons that will help efforts at community organization, resource management, agricultural development, and even anthropological documentation of age-old best practices. I am delighted that Robbie C. is broadening the audience for his research work on the Philippine indigenous community through the reprinting of his book by the University of the Philippines Press. I have long held the belief that we Filipinos have our own indigenous wellspring of tools, strategies, and frameworks for development. This book reminds us of this fact. And because of Robbie's book, I am happy that the practice of the Zanjera in northern Luzon will not be forgotten for many generations of Filipinos to come. I congratulate Robbie C. on his book. It is a book that represents the kind of research that we in UP, the University of the People, want to disseminate towards serving our fellow Filipinos. I also congratulate the UP Press for publishing this book. Thank you for giving it the importance and attention it deserves. Dr. Robert C., my friend, former colleague in two institutions, mabuhay ka. Mabuhay ang UP Press, mabuhay ang Universidad ng Pilipinas, mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, President Pascual. It truly is an honor to have you here with us. Now, our office specifically wanted the program to be short and sweet, so let us not wait any longer to have the man of the hour, our author, Dr. Robert C.
Thank you very much, Luker. Good afternoon, President Fred Pascual, UP Press Executive Director Madu Kamagay, colleagues, friends, family. Many thanks for joining us today in this book launching. And special thanks to Dr. Kamagay and President Pascual for those very kind words. We are often in search for models of how individuals, neighbors, communities, even countries can act jointly for a common purpose and for a greater good. How people unrelated can bond together and transform their environment for everyone's benefit and in a sustainable way. Our world, our region, our country needs such examples. And one remarkable example is right here with us, the Zanjera, which is the subject of this book. Before coming here today, how many of you had ever heard of what a Zanjera is? Or knew anything of what it was all about? I just want to see a show of hands, how many had any idea what a Zanjera was all about? I don't know, maybe perhaps less than 10. Dr. Kamagay has given us a brief introduction, but maybe I could just add a little more. You see, the Zanjera is an indigenous farmer-led irrigation organization found largely in Ilocos Norte. And they are made up of men and women, and as you see, the cover of this book has a woman, more prominently on the cover. Women are very active members of these organizations as well. And they work together many days in a year. And we know year in and year out, contributing huge numbers of days of labor and other resources to keep their irrigation systems in operation. And what is impressive is that these groups of Ilocano farmers in a very tough rural landscape and without much outside assistance use their own labor, local materials, and homegrown technical skills to bring water from rivers and streams to irrigate their farmlands. Many Zanjeras, you'll find out, were organized more than 100 years ago. And most have survived several generations and continue to exist and function today. So not many organizations we know of are able to survive like that and thrive. And although Zanjeras today face many challenges, including sometimes inappropriate external assistance, so we have to be very careful what kind of support we give to these groups. They display remarkable resiliency. So theirs is an inspiring story about industriousness, ingenuity, fairness, astute management, and ultimately sustainability, which is what we all seek today. Where many irrigation systems and irrigation organizations, in other contexts, we find that they often deteriorate and collapse because of conflicts over distribution of water or sometimes the lack of maintenance. Here we find that many Zanjeras have devised novel mechanisms for ensuring that their water, in spite of very serious scarcity, is shared equally and equitably among all farmers. They are also very particular about ensuring that the costs of maintaining an irrigation system and the contributions of members are divided in a very fair and transparent manner. So they're really a model in terms of governance of local organizations. And their story is about how organizations emerge, grow, and evolve, about the value of social incentives in building commitment to a purpose, and about making strenuous work as enjoyable as possible, and finding win-win solutions to complex management problems. And I feel that the Zanjera story needs to be told to every Filipino. Not only because it is a unique and valuable part of our national heritage, but also because we can each take pride and draw important lessons from their experience. So I'm truly grateful to the University of the Philippines Press for helping to bring this story to a larger audience. The first time in 1982, and I guess most of you were not yet born at that time. And I'd like to acknowledge Mrs. Pilar Thompson here with us today, who was then on the staff of UP Press. And I'm doubly grateful to UP Press for making this book available again this year. And I'm sure you will all agree that they have done a terrific job with the design, format, publication of this book. Doesn't it look great? Director Kamagay, you have a truly talented and highly professional team, and I congratulate you as well. There were many individuals who gave me friendship, advice, transportation, shelter, protection, introductions, funding, and all kinds of support during the research and writing of this book. And too many to mention here, but I would just like them to know that they are in my thoughts, and they're also mentioned in the acknowledgement section of the book. But I want to make special mention of two persons who wrote the forewords to this book. One is Professor Walter Coward, also professors of two of my friends in this room, Jayanta and Shyamala. They were also, I guess, instrumental in their careers. I mean, Professor Coward was instrumental in their careers. He suggested that I make the Zanjeras of Ilocos Norte as my research subject. And I knew nothing about irrigation or about the Ilocos region, but blindly I took his suggestion. And it has made a profound difference in my life. So I really have to acknowledge his confidence in me. Then the author of the second foreword, Eleanor Ostrom, and as Dr. Kamagay has mentioned, she drew on this research on the Zanjeras in her own book, Governing the Commons. And it has helped raise awareness among social scientists worldwide about this remarkable Zanjera story and how they have managed resources using these very important principles. So I owe both of them a huge debt of gratitude. And I have to thank my wife, Nina, for being my inspiration, my counselor, and my muse from the earliest days of this book.
Something that my wife would like to do.
And also for proofreading every paragraph and page of this publication. So she's really helped in that respect as well. So a final word to all of you. All proceeds from the sale of this book will go to UP Press. So this is another chance that all of you can give back to our premier university. Yes, President Pascual has said we all need to give back. So I don't want to delay our merienda, so I'll stop here and turn over to our host, Luker.